Hey y'all, what's good? So I'm coming into, I would really rather do this video with Jerry, but y'all know she in college. And she got a lot of stuff going on, you know, in college and homework and whatnot. Her schedule is busy, so I'm gonna have to do this with myself. I would rather do it with her though, so she could explain how she felt versus me trying to give it to y'all. Because even though I can tell you from my perspective and from what she said, how she felt, I'm, 22 years her senior, so that innocence that she has, I can't mimic that. Last night, our HR group had an outing, right? Or we had a meetup. We meet up once a month. Well, this particular meetup, only Jerry and I went. So it was a two-part event. What I'm telling y'all is about part 2B. You know how your outline for syllabi or your outlines for papers, you'll have, Roman numeral 1. This is part 2 of our outing, but B. It was a long night. We go to this restaurant that another lady in our group had a date at earlier this week. Now, I've passed by this place plenty of times. I've been in the building where this place is at another restaurant. I've never had the inclination to go there. The name, though, I like the name, but I just not my scene, I like quiet restaurants with old white people, if that makes any sense. Like rich old white people, but I don't feel like everybody stares at me when I walk in the door rich old. You know what I mean? Like, I've been to restaurants where it's obvious that not many black people come there, and when you walk in, everybody stares and looks like, what's that Negro doing here? She's not one of us. Like that. I don't ever like really going to restaurants like that, even though the food is great, because I don't like feeling that out of place. But I do like restaurants where what happened last night don't happen. We're trying to find parking, and y'all know Jerry does not drive, honey. No driver's license, no permit, no nothing. And this girl always trying to tell me how to drive, which is hilarious to me. So for this particular instance, this one time in our friendship, I say, I'm going to drop you off. Because she was hungry after our first part of the event. She was hungry, so I drop her off at the door and say, I'm going to go find parking. You go ahead and basically get some food because she's hungry. And I know how I get when I'm hungry. When I get hungry, I catch cases. So I'm like, go get you some food, right? I finally find a parking space, praying my car don't get towed, and it's cold outside. Now, I told her it was going to be cold and how I was going to dress, and child, she didn't listen. She still came out without no clothes on. She had no clothes, but child, she had the girls out. And even when I saw her for first part of the event, I said, have your breasts always been that big? Like, I don't remember them ever being that big before. Y'all think she's 22. She just had a birthday. The girls were sitting up and young and youth and beckoning. I remember when my breasts used to look like that, and men would stare. And I wasn't trying to make them look big and juicy and whatever. They just looked that way because they were just big and young, and perky. And she was like, oh, having a push-up bra. I was like, okay, I knew it was something because I never remember them being quite that, large looking. So we, I walked to, the restaurant, and when I walk in the building where the restaurant is, the first thing I see is a Tyrone and a Shaniqua sitting on a couch. The Tyrone looked like Soulja Boy with the white glasses. His Shaniqua looked all right. And then across from them on another couch, I see a biracial Shaniqua, and I'm like, Becky, what we call them Becky. I was like, I don't know about this. I'm seeing a lot of black people for the, I ain't even got to the, but this building has a lot of different restaurants. I'm thinking maybe they're here for something else. I get to the restaurant and she's in line. She haven't even gotten a table yet. And I said, I thought, y'all, before I could even ask her, I thought you would have been in, seated by now. She was like, there was a wait. Y'all, this place is full of Negroes, and y'all know how I feel about that. I'm like, what is this? And it was so late, it wasn't that many places open. We were both looking rather spiffy, so we didn't want to go to like a 24-hour, $5.99 pancake place. This is Dallas. This ain't New York where you're gonna find great restaurants open all hours of the night, right? We only had a few selections. And that's why this is part 2B of the night, because the kitchen was closed by the time we got there, right? So I'm like, I do not like this, but you're hungry, so let's do it. Y'all, I ain't been around that many black people since the family reunion, but I guess I go to church every week. But the black people at church are, they on their best behavior. Ain't nobody, everybody at church, so everybody on their best behavior. Y'all, Lord have mercy. This is what I call the bougie Negro environment. I think what happened is this environment used to be, and I think it has different vibes on different nights. I think through the week, business people come there who are usually not black. But I think on the weekend, the Negroes come. Because my friend who had the date had a date on a business day, and she didn't say anything about there being a bunch of Negroes. This day, I felt like we showed up on nigga night, just to be honest. I'm like, girl, what? Y'all know I don't like it. Anytime I go somewhere other than a specifically black event, like a concert or something like that, if I show up in this lot of black people, I just want to turn around and leave, because I just know it's going to be some nonsense. That's how we are. That's what we do. I'm sorry. If you feel like I don't, you don't agree with me, this might not be the channel for you, right? So she starts telling me about, as soon as she walks in the door, men are hitting on her. One in particular. Now, I don't find this hard to believe, because Jerry is attractive. She looks like Tyra Banks, right? And the way she had the girls out last night, she was definitely giving Tyra Banks, but she don't have, like the long weave and all that kind of stuff. But she is very thin, and she's young. She's 22. Even when we left part 2A of the outing, when we were walking to the car, y'all, an attractive older white man, I mean silver hair, my kind of, I'm going to church right now. This video is going to be edited up into a few parts, because I have to cut it up as I'm doing different stuff throughout the day. Y'all, it was a white man in there, the old cat, y'all. As we're walking to the car, he looks at me and he looks at her. And while he's doing all this, I'm looking at his hand to see if he has on a wedding ring. And all within these milliseconds of this happening, he smiles and he says, "Well, you ladies look lovely tonight." And the old flirty me would have said something thirsty like, I told her, I said, what I really wanted to say was, "So do you, Big Daddy?" But I didn't say that. I'm trying not to, be the fat, thirsty black woman that can't get nobody. So what I said instead was, "Why, thank you," or something like that, dazzling smile or whatever. But I'm fat, y'all. Things. Oh, there's one of my aunties. Baby, I'm telling y'all, my aunties be so fly at church. I just noticed her just, hey, look at you looking all beautiful.
Hey, girl, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Where you been? I ain't talking to you lately.
Good.
Good to see you.
You too. I love your outfit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You change glasses on me all the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get like you one day.
Love you.
Love you and have a good one.
Yes, ma'am. You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Oh, there's the other one, her sister. Child, they G'd up. I tell y'all, they always matching. Like, they'll go with a color. Like, they gonna say, okay, well, today we're gonna wear this. Or a theme. Well, today we're gonna wear African clothes. I told y'all it was Black History Month, and I keep going to church trying to figure out why all these black people got on, why all these people got on African garb. And then I have to remember it's Black History Month. And ever since I went to Nigeria, I'm just so, and I shouldn't say since I went to Nigeria. I think ever since I've invested in myself first, I don't care about Black History Month anymore. I'm like, if it ain't about black women, I don't care. We the only ones that's holding this thing together. And we tired of doing that. So anyway, y'all, I don't even know where to begin. Oh, I forgot about my hot tea, y'all. Oh, and it's good. Lord, I wish I could bring this in church. I could if I was disobedient, but I ain't disobedient. I don't think the other auntie see me. No, she don't. So, y'all, it's too many Negroes in here for me, but she hungry, so we gonna stay there, right? She's trying to tell me a story about how as soon as she walks in the door, the men are on her. And when the older white man said, "Aren't you ladies looking lovely tonight?" I replied back, I replied back, I'm like, thank you or something. I told her, what I really wanted to say and how, like, just, he was sexy, y'all, to me. He was, but I'm not, to me, I'm not beautiful yet. I'm not gorgeous enough for, I was like, if that had been Jay from the UK, I said that whole situation would have went totally different. And I was like, somehow he would have been offering to go with us to wherever we were going and buy our food and pay her bills. And it just like would have went a totally different way. Like, I want to be that gorgeous where a man doesn't just say, oh, well, don't you look lovely tonight? Or don't you ladies look beautiful or whatever? And I told her, I said, girl, if I wasn't with you, that wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't even look up from his phone if I wasn't with you. But it's kind of rude to compliment one person and not the other. So I said, like, basically, I got to work on it. I got to work on my weight because that's what, I personally feel like is holding me back. So anyway, the restaurant. She's trying to tell me a story about how some Tyrone was hitting on her in a restaurant as soon as she walked in the building. Not even in a restaurant, but in the building. And I'm like, I forget that she's younger. And you know how when you're young, you entertain nonsense with Tyrones? Versus when you get older, you just tell them, get out my face. She's still in that young, oh, I don't know what to say, oh, kind of stage. And I'm like, Negro, if you don't get out my face, I'm going to cut you. Like. So she was telling me the story. She kept hiding behind my back, trying to tell me it. But I didn't know what she was saying because y'all know she got that baby voice. And I'm just like, I don't know what this girl talking about. Well, at some point in the evening, we was just looking at the menu. We basically done just sat down, and the Tyrone that she is talking about shows up to the table, y'all. And he showed up, and I had to show out, y'all. So he showed up to the table, and y'all, he gonna be in this video because I'm gonna put the video up. I had to pull out the camera with this nonsense. Oh crap! I gotta put on my heels. I got pink tennis shoes. He's like, comes up to the table like he's the grand host or something. Well, aren't you ladies, look, how are you ladies doing tonight? And so since I already know this is the man that has already, harassed her and that she didn't want harassing her, this man is old enough to be her father. And if I were into dating them, he would be more my contemporary than hers. So I was like, I said, we were doing fine before you came, until you just came up. And he looked kind of surprised, like, huh? And, basically, I would never be that rude straight out if I hadn't already known that this man has made her feel uncomfortable. And so he was, trying to use that smooth Mac Daddy vibe stuff. And y'all, I had to basically pretend like I already known that this man has made her feel uncomfortable. And so he was, trying to use that smooth Mac Daddy vibe stuff. And y'all, I had to basically pretend like I was either her mother or her boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever you call it. Like I was a stud or something. And he was definitely interested in her. I don't know if this guy was a sex trafficker or what his deal was. He wouldn't get a table. He just kept roaming around, to me like a predator. And she's in that age range to be abducted, So when I said that to him, he was saying something like, he just kept trying to talk. And I said, sir, she's not interested in you. And he was like, well, can I talk to her? Like, basically, why are you speaking for her? I said, because that's what I do. I speak for her. She's not interested. And he was like, it's not even about being interested. I'm just trying to, what did he say? I just want to make her acquaintance or something like that. And I'm just like, kept trying to be somewhat polite without getting real ugly, saying, she's not interested. Can you please get away from us? Anyway, y'all, speak for her like I'm her boyfriend. That's the role I take on. I don't let her speak at all. She just don't know what to say. She don't know how to deal with this kind of situation. Honestly, at that age, I didn't either. I was very uncomfortable when older black men would hit on me. I remember one time, and I shared this story with y'all when I was a banker. I went on a sales call, and it was a black-owned business, and one of the men that worked there was like old enough to be my dad. I was early 20s like she is, and he was hitting on me. Like, he wrote a note on the back of his card saying call me or something to that effect, and I didn't, but he had my card. This is back when we used to hand out business cards. I don't even know if we still do that anymore. But he had my card, so he called me asking me, basically to take me out to dinner and stuff. And I wasn't interested. He was older. I like older men, but I don't like older black men. Now I don't at all like black men. But back then, I didn't like older black men. I just like older non-black men. So I either emailed or left a voicemail for his supervisor, whoever owned the company, like, no, I went out there to do business with you guys. So calling you guys as a business interest, not to be hit on, like, sexually, like, that's not cool, But anyway, so I spoke for her. He was like basically saying, well, can I talk to her? I was like, no, you can't. I speak for her. I said, we were having a good night, or at least we're trying to, and we can't because you won't let us. And he just was persistent. And so that's when I pulled out the camera and this happened. Let's just record this since you want to be seen. We're trying to enjoy a lovely evening, but this gentleman won't let us.
I don't care about you recording me.
We can't talk to each other, so we may as well.
I get recorded a lot. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and go. I don't want her to, get disrespectful or nothing like that.
I want to come in. I'm gonna put one of my old Stefco. She does this a lot. I want to make an interjection here. Did y'all notice that he said she got disrespectful or she gets disrespectful? So I feel like I'm on National Geographic where I have to come in and give this commentary about understanding Tyrone's. She and I are at dinner paying for our food, having a good evening, but because I hold him accountable for unwanted sexual harassment, I'm the one who is being disrespectful because I decide to record him. In other words, you're walking around like a peacock wanting to be seen in your lovely sweater and hat, and because I record this and therefore the world can get to see what a douchebag you are, somehow I'm the one that's being disrespectful. Y'all see how that worked? Okay, back to your regularly scheduled programming. So it was like you want to be seen, and it's a shame that you got to pull out a camera and film people when they're acting stupid for them to stop acting stupid, and that don't mean they always gonna stop acting stupid, because I had a situation like on my block where some people was outside fighting, and this wasn't just one or two people, it was like a fight and driving off and skirt and coming back fighting with other girls and just all kind of stuff. So I started filming and they got mad because I was filming it, and like, well, y'all stop acting stupid, like so later on I had to go to the bathroom and wash my hands, and I'm like, okay, I'm about to go to the bathroom. She's like, I'm coming with you. And I said, girl, that man is not gonna bother you. She's like, I'm coming with you. Well, and this place is really busy, I don't want our seats to get taken. So the hostess happened to be seating the table next to us, and I said, this guy was harassing us, so I gotta go to the bathroom, but she wants to go with me. Can you make sure our table doesn't get taken while we're gone? And she was like, oh yeah, and she looked so sorry that that somebody was harassing us. And it's just like, and y'all see what the dude had on, like, and I even had a dream about that dude, that he was homeless in my dream. It's like he was telling us something like this before I should have started filming earlier. But he was like, yeah, see, I got a limo and I had these girls with me, but then they started throwing up, and I told the driver just go ahead and take them back to their hotel. And he talking about, I'm here in Dallas doing business. Just one of them who put, like, boy, if you don't get out y'all saw the picture. He might be a businessman and all that, but my experiences with men that really have money, what they don't do is walk around a restaurant with a glass of water, dressed out like a pimp from 1976, turned 2023 pimping 2.0. I don't know if this dude was into sex trafficking. He seemed like he might have been kind of gay, talking about he was from Atlanta. Anytime I meet a man talking about he's from Atlanta, I automatically assume a couple of things, and one of those things is that he likes penis more than I do. So it was just like, why? And I still ain't even got on the girl in our group that went on a date to this place earlier. She went with a Asian guy, and I'm just like, now, was this place black like this when y'all went? Because what? Like, y'all, why? Like, why it gotta be like that? Like, why can't women just go? And this ain't the first time this happened. Anytime our group goes out and we're at a place where there's a lot of black people, it's inevitable that some black man or men will come up to our table and make some sexual innuendo that we're not interested. It's like, can we, I shared with you guys recently a Designing Women montage, and it said something about designing women being woke way back then, and I was a kid when Designing Women was out, but it was so many of those montages I memorized because I loved, Dixie Carter. Her name was Julia Sugarbaker on the show, but I loved the way she could handle, people and their issues. And there was, one of those montages was of her and her friends, her co-workers, out trying to enjoy the night, and some man came up trying to talk to them, and she wasn't interested. And of course she gave a well-written, because they have writers, a well-written monologue about how women are always out trying to have fun, and there's always some guy who thinks we want his attention, and we don't. We're just trying to enjoy ourselves. And that's what it was with us. Like, Jerry's in a relationship and I'm not interested in your type, so you're not my type. It's not even a preference. I would prefer to be alone than to be with another Tyrone. Like, so you're not even a preference, because I don't prefer you in any circumstance. Like, if you were the last man on earth, I still wouldn't want you if you're a black man. That's just how I feel about them at this point. So finally, he leaves. I mean, he's walking around the restaurant still trying to encroach his stuff upon different tables. And I think finally, Jerry sees him leave with some white guy or something. I was like, yeah, he might be betting for the other team. When he came up to our table, he said basically, the bar has told me anything I want is on me, or all drinks are on me tonight, or whatever y'all want from the bar is on me, or the bar is let me drink free. And y'all, this man could have been somebody famous and I don't know about it. I don't care. If he wasn't Jay-Z, I'm not interested. Like, nah, you can't sit down and talk to us. If it ain't Jay-Z, it's somebody I know, like, no, I'm not interested. Your teeth ain't even fixed, but you so baller. You got a limo and you got this and that, but you can't even fix your teeth. Like, boy, you gonna get on my face. So anyway, we ate, and the food was good. I had all I had was like, well, whatever I had, it was like I hadn't eaten in hours, like many hours. So I was hungry and it wasn't too much. And, she's vegetarian, so she ate something healthy, But we just had a good time, and I told her I just love my I've been calling her my little rabbit lately. I've always got these nicknames for her. And she had her nails done because it was her birthday recently. And I was like, oh girl, I see you with your nails done. And she had on like some peep toe shoes and her toes were done. So I was like, oh girl, look, what? Y'all, when I met her feet were done when I met her. She always kept her feet done, or at least painted. But I ain't never seen her nails done. Now, I'm not a big fan of getting nails done because she had a acrylic overlay, and I don't like that. It ruins your nail bed. Y'all know I'm au natural over here. I ain't never really fake on me. Not my nails, not my hair, not lashes, none of that. It's the real thing, no filter. You either like it or you don't. So, we had a good time, and then after we left the restaurant, I was trying to debate whether or not I was going to go back to my friend's house or not after I dropped her back off on campus. So I just decided to go home because I would have had to be right back, in Dallas early in the morning to go to church. So I was like, I'm headed to my friend's house now. One of my girlfriends called me up and was like, she felt like going out, and I was like, and I'm broke as a joke, but I told her, yeah, because I borrowed some money from Cash App, only for me to go home. I went home to get something that I sold on Poshmark, couldn't find it, and the guy that cuts my yard normally, I tell y'all about him all the time, the Mexican guy, he's also doing some repairs on my house right now, and he agreed that I could pay him out over the course of a month and a half. Well, he always catches me when I'm like in a rush, but I can't tell him, I don't think he works like necessarily a 9 to 5 like he, his wife does. I think she has papers to do that, but somehow I don't think he ever got him, even though he's been over here for 30 years, he still won't speak English. And neither does his wife really, but his son or daughter-in-law is always interpreting for us or translating for us. So he wants to talk to me about the repairs, and so we agree on a price, and this is what happens with him all the time. We'll agree on a price, and then he keep nickel and diming me, and that's why I say come up with a price you know, and it's just, it's like this always. And it's like, I would rather you give me a price, and even if it's too high and that's the price, so I don't have to basically be trying to duck and dodge you every time I see you because I had to do this, so that's, you know, that's gonna be $50 more. And I'm like thinking, can't, you know, and that's what the guys who do the estimates for me tell me when they come out to the house. You know, these are the professional companies I'm talking about, not just, you know, somebody I know. You know, they'll say, well, I'll give you a generous estimate because, you know, I don't want the guys finding this wrong and that wrong, and then we have to keep telling you, you know, originally we were going to tell you it was $20,000, but now we're telling you, oh, we need $2,000 more for X, Y, and Z. It's like crackhead out here waving, trying to get some money. I'm like, girl, if you got that much energy, surely you could go like work at McDonald's or something. But crackheads like to smoke crack every day, and that's not really conducive to working with people's food every day. She frustrated because ain't nobody giving her no money. Girl, people working hard for their money. I'm like, so yeah, when I went back home, he like, well, he got his son on the phone, but he says, can you at least give him, you know, can you at least pay him for this and this? Now, y'all, when I got paid, you know, his son messaged me saying, you know, my dad says, how much are you gonna give him on this, you know, basically when you get paid? I said, oh, I was thinking 100. And his, you know, his son says, well, he says, can you at least do 300? I say, sure. That was on Thursday, y'all. It's Sunday, and he like, well, my dad says, can you at least give him, you know, that he need money for this and for that, and you know, I told him before, give me a price that includes the labor and the parts. Whatever you need, I need that in the price. And of course, this man doesn't have a company; he just does, you know, work. And I know it's a favor to me that he's even let me pay over a period of time. But it's just like every time I see him now, well, he needs money for this and he needs money for that. And I'm thinking that's what was supposed to be included in the price. Like the price is now no longer, you know, what we said. It's oh y'all. And this is why I wish, you know, I wish. So anyway. So I'm supposed to get this man $70 tomorrow, and I got 68, but you may as well say 70, and that's like my last little $70 on Cash App that I can borrow, and I was gonna try to make that last me for 2 weeks. And he's like, well, he said, can you know, and the reason I do want to pay him whenever he asks, even though it's not what we agreed, is because he's doing it for me as a favor, you know, or I mean, I know it's work, but he's doing it for me over the course of time. I remember one of my stores, I went to her house for a wedding a few years ago, and she just had so much work done on her house, and she said if you get in a good relationship with a contractor, you know, he'll let you pay it over time. You don't have to pay him all of it at once. And so this is that kind of thing. So I never want to tell him no, you know, but I'm just like, I guess that phone about to get cut off, child, because I ain't got it. But I don't want to tell him no about anything, because, and so when I came home, he telling me, oh yeah, I had to have 3 guys help me with this because that, and I'm like, you know, so that was why he was asking me for 300, probably was to pay each of them $100. And, you know, I thought he was gonna do it himself. He's like, oh no, it was too much work for me. And or no, he was saying, oh no, it was too much work. And I'm thinking it was probably more work than he knew how to do himself. Like he repaired siding on his house, but he could afford to buy the correct siding. My house needed so much work, I think he just bought planks. Like, oh y'all, it's always something. If you want to be a homeowner, honey, just know it's more than just saying you're a homeowner. It's a whole bunch of responsibilities to go with it. When something go wrong, ain't no leasing office to call to fix it. You got to fix it yourself. So anyway, let me get in here. I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all be easy. Like, share, subscribe. Bye.